Ever wondered how that delicious golden honey ends up in your jar? Well, it's a tale that begins in the heart of buzzing hives amidst a flurry of hardworking bees. It's a story of nature and nurture, of teamwork and tenacity, and of the sweet mystery of honey production. In this journey, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of bees, and their pivotal role in creating that golden elixir we all know and love. You see, bees aren't just the producers of honey, they're nature's little engineers, diligently working day and night to keep our ecosystem thriving. Our tale begins in the hive, a complex hexagonal labyrinth that buzzes with life. Here, thousands of bees, each with a specific role, work in perfect harmony. The worker bees, the tireless foragers, venture out into the world, collecting nectar from a variety of flowers. This nectar, carried in their honey stomachs, is then passed on to house bees back at the hive. The house bees in turn begin the process of transforming this nectar into honey. They do this by adding enzymes from their bodies to the nectar and then evaporating the excess water. The result? That thick, sweet syrup we call honey. And this isn't just a delicacy for us humans, it's the primary food source for bees, especially during the colder months. But bees do more than just produce honey. They are integral to our ecosystem, playing a critical role in pollination. As they flit from flower to flower collecting nectar, they also transfer pollen, helping plants reproduce. Without these buzzing little workers, our world would look starkly different. Honey production is a marvel of nature, a process that has been perfected over millions of years. It's a testament to the incredible work ethic of bees and their importance in our world. We often take for granted the journey that honey takes from the hive to our homes, but it's a journey worth exploring. Now that we've set the stage, it's time to dive into the honey-making process itself. The journey of honey begins in the heart of a bustling bee colony. Let's dive right into this sweet mystery and discover the crucial role of bees in honey production. Our tiny, industrious friends have a fascinating division of labor. The worker bees, who are all female, are the ones responsible for collecting nectar, the raw material for honey. After a bee visits a flower and sucks the nectar using her long, tube-shaped tongue, she stores it in her honey stomach, also known as a crop. This honey stomach can hold about 70 milligrams of nectar, nearly the same weight as the bee herself. Once the worker bee has her honey stomach full, she flies back to the hive. Here's where the magic happens. Enzymes in the bee's honey stomach break down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler ones. This process, known as inversion, transforms the nectar into a substance we're more familiar with, honey. But the bee's job isn't over yet. She regurgitates the honey into the mouth of another worker bee in the hive, who further breaks down the sugars and passes it on to another bee. This game of pass the honey continues until the honey is finally deposited into a honeycomb cell. Now this honey is still a bit too watery for the bees' liking, so they fan it with their wings to speed up the evaporation process. Once the water content is reduced to about 17%, the bees seal the cell with a wax cap, preserving the honey inside for future consumption. This sealing process creates the honeycomb pattern we all recognize. From collecting nectar to transforming it into honey and preserving it in honeycombs, every step of the process is meticulously carried out by these remarkable creatures. The bee's method of creating and storing honey ensures it can last for centuries without spoiling. Bees truly are nature's little chemists, aren't they? But how does this honey make it from the hive to your home? Harvesting honey is a delicate art that requires care, precision, and respect for our buzzing friends. The process begins as beekeepers approach the hive with a special tool known as a smoker. The smoker emits a cool, white smoke that helps to calm the bees and disrupt their natural alarm response. This allows the beekeeper to handle the frames without causing undue stress to the bees. Once the bees are calm, the beekeeper carefully removes the frames from the hive. Each of these frames is filled with honeycomb, a waxy structure of hexagonal cells where the bees store their honey. But before the honey can be extracted, the honeycomb needs to be uncapped. This is done using a heated electric knife or a manual uncapping fork. The goal is to remove the thin layer of wax that the bees have used to seal off the honey, without damaging the honeycomb itself. After uncapping, the frames are placed in a honey extractor. This is essentially a large centrifuge that uses force to spin the honey out of the honeycomb. The honey then flows down into a container, leaving the wax and other solids behind. This process is gentle and doesn't harm the structure of the honeycomb, allowing it to be returned to the hive for the bees to refill. The extracted honey is then strained to remove any remaining wax particles and other impurities. This leaves us with raw, natural honey that retains all of its beneficial properties. It's a sweet golden nectar that's the reward of months of hard work by our industrious bees and careful harvesting by dedicated beekeepers. And just like that, we have raw, natural honey. But it's not quite ready for the supermarket shelves just yet. The final steps of honey production ensure you get a clean, pure product in every jar. Once the honey is collected from the hive, it goes through a straining process. This is done to remove any remaining beeswax and other impurities that might have found their way into the honey during extraction. The honey is poured through a fine mesh strainer, allowing the sweet nectar to flow through while trapping unwanted particles. Some honey producers might choose to take it a step further through a process called pasteurization. This involves heating the honey to a specific temperature for a set amount of time. The goal here is not to cook the honey, but to kill any yeasts that might be present, preventing fermentation and extending the shelf life of the product. It's important to note, however, that not all honey is pasteurized. Many honey enthusiasts prefer raw honey, which is honey that has been strained but not heated, preserving all the natural enzymes and nutrients. Following straining and optional pasteurization, the honey is ready to be packaged. The packaging process is simple yet methodical, designed to maintain the quality of the honey while preparing it for distribution. The honey is poured into jars or bottles, which are then sealed to keep the honey fresh and safe from contamination. The type of container used can vary, from classic glass jars to squeezable plastic bottles, each chosen for its ability to best preserve and present the honey. Finally, each jar or bottle is labeled with the type of honey, the brand, and any other pertinent information, such as whether the honey is raw or pasteurized. These labels help consumers make informed decisions about the honey they're purchasing, providing transparency and trust in the product. The last step in the honey production process is distribution, where these jars and bottles of honey are transported to stores, markets, and homes around the world. This is where the journey of the honey ends, and your sweet experience begins. And there you have it, the journey of honey from a small flower to your breakfast table. It's been a sweet journey exploring the world of honey production. We've delved into the intricate dance of bees, nature's tiny factory workers, who transform nectar into honey. We've followed this golden treasure from the hive to your home, witnessing the careful harvest and the meticulous process of refining and packaging. Honey's journey is truly a labor of love. Next time you enjoy a spoonful of honey, remember the incredible journey it's been on. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the sweet world of honey.